It's funny how in the most overwhelming moments of our lives, just a few simple words can give us a sense of direction. When everything feels like it's spinning out of control, sometimes the best tool we have is just a framework for how to think about it all. And this, of course, is the Serenity Prayer. It's so simple, you can memorize it in a heartbeat, but it speaks right into those situations where the future is a question mark and our sense of control is just gone. It's not really about giving answers, it's about helping you find your bearings. And that really gets to the heart of what we're talking about today. What actually happens when you take this profound, simple framework and apply it to one of the toughest diagnoses anyone can face? So we're going to take a look at how each line of this prayer can become a practical, day-to-day guide for navigating the reality of ALS, a disease that completely reshapes a person's body, their life, and their entire relationship with the world around them. So you might be asking why this prayer for this specific disease? Well, it's because the very nature of ALS creates this unique kind of tension that the prayer speaks to directly. Just think about this combination for a second. With ALS, you have a disease that is irreversible. It only progresses. It brings increasing dependence on others. But at the same time, its progression is totally uncertain. It's different for everyone. And through it all, the person's mind often stays completely sharp. So you're in this space where you have to plan, but you can't predict. You have to act, but you can't control the outcome. All right, let's dive into that first line, which is often the hardest one, but it's also the most fundamental: acceptance. Now, it is absolutely crucial to understand what we mean by acceptance here. It is not passive. It's not about giving up or just not caring anymore. It's actually a really active process. It means looking reality square in the face so you can stop wasting precious energy fighting things you can't change, and instead pour that energy into what you can do, into what still matters. For the person actually living with ALS, this means confronting some really profound truths. No amount of fighting is going to change the diagnosis itself or the progressive nature of the disease. Acceptance is that first step toward figuring out how to live with these truths without letting them completely consume you. And, this is not a solo journey. The caregiver is right there, walking a parallel path. For them, acceptance might mean letting go of that powerful urge to fix what is unfixable. It's about recognizing that just showing up with love and support is not just enough, it's everything. Serenity is a shared need for sure. Okay, so if that first part is about understanding limits, this next part is all about agency. ALS takes a lot, but it doesn't take everything. It doesn't remove all control, it just changes where that control lies. And this is where action is so powerful. People can still make huge decisions about their care, about the equipment they use, about how to adapt their home. They can choose new ways to communicate. They can choose connection over isolation. There is still so much room for meaningful, powerful action. I just love this quote because it completely redefines what we think of as courage. It's not about some big, dramatic, heroic moment. In the world of ALS, courage is found in the small, quiet, practical choices you make, day after day after day. For someone with ALS, courage might look like learning to use a new piece of intimidating equipment, or it could be finding the strength to ask for help with something that used to be easy. It's the quiet courage to just keep showing up for a life that is changing all the time. And for caregivers, that courage is just as practical. It's learning new medical skills on the fly, fighting for their loved one with medical teams, and having those impossibly hard conversations about the future, all while dealing with their own deep emotional and physical exhaustion. So here's the linchpin, right? How do you know when to accept something and when to act? That's where this final line comes in. And this isn't a one-and-done decision. It is a constant, daily practice of figuring it out. Every single day, sometimes every hour, brings new questions. Is this new challenge something I just have to accept as part of the disease? Or is it a problem that we can actually solve with a new tool, a different technique, or a change in our approach? And here's another huge question. Is this particular fight worth the energy it takes? Wisdom in this world is incredibly practical. It's about knowing when to push forward and when to conserve energy, always focusing on what's truly going to enhance quality of life. Okay, so let's make this super concrete and see how it all comes together. The prayer isn't some magic solution. It's more like a companion, a mental checklist you can run through in any given moment. Let's take a real-world example, a difficult transfer, say from a wheelchair to a bed. The first step is acceptance. Okay, this is hard and I need help.
The second is action. Let's use the right equipment. Let's communicate clearly about what's needed. And the third is wisdom. Knowing when to pause, recognizing when you're pushing too hard and you need to take a break to keep everyone safe. See? Accept, act, discern.
And that, right there, is really the ultimate takeaway. This prayer does not and cannot change the diagnosis. It doesn't change the outcome. What it does is provide a way to navigate the massive emotional and practical challenges of the journey, one moment at a time. In the end, what this prayer really offers isn't control, because that's impossible. It offers something way more valuable: clarity. It doesn't give you certainty, but it helps you find presence. It helps you find this kind of grounded strength that can hold you steady even when it feels like everything else is changing around you.